What's up guys, Ben here bringing you another video today. We're going to take a little bit of a break from our mid-season team review series. We're going to finish it off later this week, but I wanted to, per a bunch of people requesting and tweeting at me, get my Breaking Point fantasy team out there. Let's talk about it. Things are a little bit more interesting. They made some rule changes this stage, so let's talk about it and build our team. All right, so if you've never played the Breaking Point fantasy game, if you've ever played like Fantasy Premier League, it's kind of similar. Basically, you have $25. Every player in the league has a dollar amount. You have to add up to at or below 25. You build your team before the stage. You don't get to do transfers or anything like that. And that's the team that you have for all online matches. And then at LAN. New thing they're adding this split is the ability to pick a captain. The captain will earn 1.1 extra points you normally get. And so they give a little bit of an example here. If we scroll down here, us to Pred and Ant, aka Shotzi, and kind of the cumulative points you would get if you had decided to captain one of those players. So definitely probably want to captain the player you think is going to get the most points. Don't captain your $4 or $5 unless you think that they are going to be, or get the performance of like your $9 or $10 or $8 players. So it's very easy. Before we actually click on it, I've also got a lot of questions about how the scoring works. I spoke to Breaking Point, and they said that at some point they're going to put out an article kind of explaining how the scoring works, but it doesn't seem like they're going to do like a full algorithm reveal. But I think the easiest way to describe it is you want to pick a player that's going to be both impactful from an objective standpoint, but also get kills. And you want to pick players that you think are on teams that are going to place like top 6 or higher at LAN. If you pick players whose teams get last, you're not going to get a lot of points. So very easy to go ahead and start picking your team. You go to the Breaking Point website, you got to sign in, then you go ahead, you click here, and you get ready to submit. So overall, I'm trying to play a little bit better this time around. We've always been like top 6, top 10 in these tournaments, and last split, I did go ahead and finish 6th. I've had best placing of 2nd so far this season, but we haven't yet kind of nailed the winning lineup. It looks like Lando did, and he got 2,000 points by picking 2 Optic players, a Boston player, and a Toronto player. So again, you want to pick players on teams that are going to place high. That means you're going to get a lot of games, and if they play well, you get that going. So like I got hurt, for example, because I picked Kenny, and I probably would have gotten a few more points if LA Thieves didn't sort of bottom out at the tournament. There's a decent amount of value now in here, which is making me think that instead of going for my like $8 and $7 picks, which I was sort of a big strat fan of that strat like earlier on in this competition during stage 1. There's not a lot of value, I think, to be found necessarily in the middle of this. I do think the value is going to be sort of in these $4 or $5 players. It's just a question of finding a player on a team that I think is going to make it far in a tournament. All right, so let's dive in and start picking our team. I saw this good Jacob Hale thread a couple of weeks ago about, or last week about this competition. So top 3 average points, we got a BZ, Scrappy, and Pred. I would say that I'm probably, if I'm gonna pick a $10, probably lean towards a BZ, because I think FaZe is always a pretty good lock to get top 3 or top 4. Then top 3 average points per in Major 4. ASIM being at the $4 mark, I think makes this good. I would stay away from the rocker players for now. I don't really know what's going on here. And I agree with Jake about some of these, so we'll get there. There's a couple of ways we can do this. I think one thing we're going to do is I'm 100% going to go with ASIM. In terms of all the $4 players, and looking at this, surprisingly, Dylan's very low. Alex low, Cammy's low. I just don't feel like the rocker team's in a good spot right now. I don't know if they're making a roster change, but for now, I think ASIM probably's got good value down there. And this London team, I think, is going to give it a decent run here down the stretch with the new Yuli pickup. All right, so we go to the next thought, next part. And it's what do we want to do in the $6 and $7 spot? I love draws in this format. I'm a big sort of draws kind of, I guess, truther in this competition. He is normally pretty good. He had a really tough major last major, but I think there's a lot of opportunity there with the value that he provides. He's normally good stats. And if you look at, if we were to go to previous point performances here, I can kind of back up and show you what I'm talking about when it comes to Draza. Like we go with champs last year, he was a top 4 player. We go to Major 1, and he was pretty high up on the list. And then Major 2 as well, making it to the finals, he was 4th. So when their team plays good, Draws is usually in that spot. Now, what happens is when they play very poorly, he's near the bottom. So just keep that in mind. I'm kind of, if I'm going to do this, bank on Thieves playing a little bit better this season. You could always go with the inside pick here. My only problem with the inside pick is then we can't really go with the $10 player. we'd have to go with a $9 player, then another $5 player. And if I look at the $5 options here of Fellow, Attach, Hixie, Vivid, Donnie, TJ, Standy, I mean, it's not horrible, but it's not an amazing set. And I don't really want to... Picking a Vegas player is a little bit tricky, though I think they might do decent in this tournament. So I think let's take the ASIM at the $4. That's a lock for us. I am going to go with a BZ for now. We might switch this out for Celium. Those are the two players. I want to pick a phase player on the top end of this. It's going to be either a BZ or Cell. They're point getter 1 and 2 on the team. And now that gives us $11 to pick 2 spots. So we're looking at a 6 and a 5 combo right here. I think then when that makes the draws pick really easy. And there's a question of, do we want to double up on a 6 or do I want to take a chance on a $5 player? I look at the $6 options. Havoc, Brack, Scraps, the London Fortress, Yuli, Joe Deceives, and Priest. It isn't really inspiring to me. It doesn't make me feel like super great. I'm just thinking that maybe what we can do is we can do this and then we can then go for another $6 player. That doesn't really help us either. So I think, let's see what we got in the $5 options here. We got Fellow, Lamar, Hixie, Reese Vivid, Donnie, TJ, Standy. There's a couple of ways I could go about this. I could pick a Vegas player, and there's a number in this list. Like Standy would be probably the one that I would think would be a good upside pick. But I'm banking on Vegas having to go deep in this tournament or playing online pretty well. And then there's sort of the, do I go with like an accuracy or Hixie? I'm going on a team I think that's going to place pretty well at the tournament, but isn't the highest performer. Banking on Hixie might be an interesting play here. I think he got like 300-ish points. I can look at Jacob Hale's sheet here if we want. There's a sheet that Jacob Hale tweeted out a while back, and it says that Hixie got 302 points last split, so 60 per dollar at 5, which is actually really good. TJ's value is pretty good, although he's starting to diminish in overall performance, and I can see that sliding even more with Standy coming on the team. Donnie's been giving decent value at the 300 spot. Lamar, this major 2 number, if they play bad, Lamar doesn't have value, so I'm a little scared about that. And then, is there any other $5 play? There's a bunch of 4s, but Fellow will be their $5 player, but that's not a good value pick. Reese Vivid, again, not a great value pick. So it really comes down to, I think these players, and it's enough where I think like Donnie would be, Donnie aka Temp would be probably the smart play, as well as Standy. But my only thing is then I'm just hitching myself to the Vegas wagon as opposed to the safer play with Toronto. I think we're gonna remove Lamar from the equation, so we'll take him out. And it just comes down to, do I want to roll the dice on a Vegas player and hope that they don't get like top 8, or do I kind of take the ball on Hixie and just assume that there'll be a little bit of a improved performance? 300 points, and they didn't play that many games, but they did get to the end, is pretty good, but that will fall off if they don't make it deep. I'm going to go with the safe play, honestly. I would love to hitch my wagon to the Vegas realm of things, but I just think that that's risky, and I would rather take the value of Hixie and just assume, even if I get in the mid 200s, you know, he maybe won't do the best online. I still feel good about Toronto like placing good at this event and getting at least like a top 6 or a top 4. So I feel good about this because I have a FaZe, a Thieves, and I have a Toronto player, and I feel like this is 3 of the top 6 teams and could be some of your best places at this tournament. And then I got ASIM, who I think is a great value at the $4 point. So we're 25 on the spot. I got a BZ coming in with my captain's pick, and I think we're going to lock this in. Bam, bam, bam. Submit. Okay. There you go. This is my team for this upcoming split. I'm hoping that we can get a good, solid top 3 finish with the squad. Really banking on draws, I think, providing me good value. Ace started to find a little bit something at the end, and Hixie started to get more comfortable, and I'm really confident that Abizi is going to get it done. So, and that's it for the video. Let me know in the comments the teams that you guys have made for this competition. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and as always, guys, we'll see you on the next video.